This is a preview of a hands-on session of our generative AI class where we show you how to develop your own generative AI applications which respond to your unique needs.
So we have here our generative AI poem generator. And it should say here, enter a poem topic, the button for poem, and then these kind of empty text boxes here. So if I come over here and I pop up preview, I get something that looks like this. You should get something like this. And now when we come in, and I'm going to keep going with the breakfast themes that I'm seeing in the chat, we should get a poem, great, and an image. Congratulations, folks. We have created the beginning, just the beginning of our first multimodal generative AI app. And so next what we're going to do is talk about how do we edit this? How do we take this and put in our own prompts instead of the poem generation prompt? So now for the fun part. We've got all the things plugged into the other things. Now, again, what I want you to be thinking about at the metacognition level while we're doing this is the structure. You have a front end. We're putting our front end in Bubble. You don't need to. You could use Adalo. There's all kinds of no code interfaces or low code ones. You could also code your own with JavaScript or TypeScript and host it on something like Versal or HostGator. But somewhere you have your front end, your UI, right? There's lots of decisions that go into that. And then once you have your UI, it needs to talk to your AI model, right? Your AI model is separate from that. And so that's being hosted somewhere by someone like OpenAI or Dream Studio, or maybe you've made your own. In that case, it would be out on AWS or on Azure or some kind of cloud platform. You need these two things to talk to each other. And so they do that with an API key. So whatever service you're using, whether it's OpenAI or Dream Studio or Anthropic, you go get your API key, you find this place that you provide the authorization, and boom, now you have a way for your two parts of your application to talk to each other. What's the important part for us? So we mostly today are going to focus on prompt engineering, right? So last week we talked about prompt engineering and creating these stable prompts that allow people to put in some kind of user input, right? So this is our user input that then gets programmatically placed into a prompt to allow them to modify it in a certain way. So you can see that the prompt that we have here is relatively trivial. Write me a poem about blank. So when someone comes in here and types in cereal or dogs or pancakes, it gets put into this variable text input. You see? So this is a very short prompt. And but for many of our prompts, this is going to be a lot longer, right? So we've done all the tuning and put this in. So the first thing that I want us to do is to modify this prompt. So we can come in now to our OpenAI playground, and we're going to go to the completion section for this. So the first thing that I want to do is replace the user input with my variable. So the variable has to be exactly this. Left caret text underbar input right caret, because that's how it's designed in the application. If you want to change your variables, there's instructions on that in the supplemental video. But for now, it just needs to say left caret text input. So we could just come in here and edit it right here. Write me a blog about this. And then if we reinitialize the call, what we would find when we go over to our preview and refresh is that despite the now mismatched title, what happens is instead of getting a poem, we would actually get a blog, short blog about cereal. Right. So see, instead of that fun poem, now I have a very like serious blog about cereal from editing the prompt here. But sometimes editing the prompt in here often doesn't work. Why? Because it's just extremely difficult to test things, and uh, it's if your prompts are very long, then it becomes very easy to do syntax errors. So let's do something really long. Let's say you have a super long prompt. Obviously, this prompt would be absolutely ridiculous, but let's say this is what your prompt is. There's a trick here. You can come up to this button that says view code. You click view code, and it actually gives you this perfectly structured JSON with everything done properly, with all the right syntax. And then you don't have to write all this out in there. It has all the commas correct. So it's really annoying here because if you get like one quotation wrong or one comma wrong, it'll just error and it's really hard to find. You just come in here and you click copy, and you can just come over to Bubble and just paste in that entire thing, and it should work perfectly.
This was just a taster of the upskilling you will receive at our Generative AI Masterclass, a 3-week synchronous course where you will learn all about integrating generative AI into your workflow. You will build real Gen AI applications without requiring any previous coding experience. The class also comes with an unlimited one-on-one consultations with an instructor to help you build applications for your specific context. Check out the link in the description to learn more about the course.